Hey, I'm Luna, and I wanted to make a little video to talk about solstice, this time of year, ritual, and how you can create some kind of ritual to honor this winter cycle and the closing of a decade. So, yeah, when we come to winter solstice, it's a really beautiful time to kind of reflect on the year, go inward. If you, yeah, are into the idea of cyclical living, then it's the time when we really calm down, reflect, come into a kind of meditation, hibernation state before starting to, yeah, look towards the plans for the next year. I think it's really beautiful to try to honor this as much as possible in this world where people are go, go, go all times of the year, and to really have this time to reflect. So, currently I'm doing that by being out in the countryside by myself and really having time to integrate everything that I've learned in this last year, all the things I've experienced, connect with nature again, have lots of downtime, as well as still being a bit productive, but to really, yeah, take the time to integrate and reflect. I think it's so beautiful if you can give yourself the opportunity to do that. And yeah, I'm planning a nice elemental ritual for the solstice itself in the upcoming days. But before that, I've been doing lots of journaling, lots of reflection, sending out some messages and calls of gratitude to people in my life, and spending a lot of time in nature and meditating. And I think it's a really powerful thing to do to move into the closing of the year, the closing of this decade, even. And yeah, so I'll share some journaling ideas that you can maybe use to start reflecting, whether you just meditate on the questions or whether you prefer to write down. But yeah, like what are some of the things that I've achieved this year? What am I most proud of these achievements? Yeah, what were my favorite moments? And favorite moments can be to do with your business. It might be sexual, pleasurable, intimacy, favorite moments. It might be community, favorite moments. It might be moments of really connecting deeply within yourself, in deep states, and finding out more about yourself. So, what are some of these favorite moments of the year? What were the hardest parts of the year, and what did I learn from them? What can I be grateful for from them? So sometimes things are just really hard, and it can be really difficult to try to find anything to be grateful for out of them, and you don't have to, but it can be really beautiful to try to reflect on this and try to find, of the things that were really challenging, really difficult, really negative, what can I get from that? What can I take from that that can, go towards my future and a more positive life in the future? Who did I connect with and who do I appreciate most? So, maybe who was supportive, who made new connections, old connections, the people in your life, your community, your family, whoever it is, just reflecting on these beautiful people and the impact that they've had on your life. And yeah, where did I grow most this year? What was my biggest lessons? Yeah, you can also reflect on like where did I feel the most excitement, joy, flow, surrender, these kind of things. I really like reflecting on my favorite erotic moments of the year as well, whether that's with myself or with others, and just taking the time to remember how beautiful sensuality, pleasure, sexuality can be. So I'll type those down below, some of those reflections, and you can take a chance to journal them. And then for creating a ritual, it's, yeah, really beautiful to figure out some kind of way to maybe structure it. So I'm choosing to work with the elements this year, but you can also maybe work with the different senses, or maybe the different chakras or different things like that. I kind of find it helps to try to have a way to include like a variety of experiences. You might want to make an altar. So an altar is like a visual representation of different elements. So it really speaks to the kind of subconscious symbolic mind. So usually, you try to include some different elements in there. Maybe grab some things from nature. Maybe have some candles, some photos, images, write down some things, whatever you feel inspired for, to make something really beautiful that you can kind of look at, be inspired by, remember beautiful things in your life that you're grateful for. And then, moving into the ritual. So my inspiration is the elements. So I'm going to be having some cacao for earth. Then I have a hot tub here. So even though it's a lot of work, it's a wood fire one. So I have to all day be keeping the fire to warm it up. And I decided it's worth it. So I'm going to have the wood fire hot tub for the water element, then do a little bonfire for fire, and then do some breath work, and obviously being out in the fresh air for the air element. And at night times I'll have this space ether to also kind of involve into the experience. So my idea is to go from earth and then into the water, and also, it's really beautiful to do something to get into a kind of trance state. So for me, I find going between like a sauna or a hot bath and cold really, like, I don't know, it changes my cells and my being, and I get into such a deep trance. So that's going to be one of the ways that I'm going to get into a trance state. Also, the cacao helps, open the heart and feel like this kind of plant medicine enjoyment. So so the going from the hot water into the cold air, and then having the fire, dancing around the fire. It's also really beautiful in a ritual to do something of letting go and something of bringing in. So it's really nice if you're incorporating fire to maybe like have either just figuratively throw something into the fire, or even write something down or burn something. So it can be something that you've reflected on from this year, maybe some patterns that you don't want to continue into the next year. So for example, for me, I still managed to burn myself out a little bit this year and do too many things. I always have this habit of needing to overachieve and overproduce, and to scatter my energy a bit. So I'm going to be inviting that to be released. And then once you've released, then it's a good time to call in like what will replace that energy. So, for my next year, I really want to be embracing surrender, and also finding, doing less but more deep work. So I want to, not be doing a million different offerings, but to have fewer things that are deeper processes. So, and to be really like surrendering to life and not trying to push and manifest and force and all that, to just be into more of an allowing state. So that's personally mine, but you can find what resonates for you, something to let go of and something to call in that you can do during this ritual. And then ending in meditation, reflection. I love ending in gratitude. So taking the time to imagine all the people that you're grateful for and all the experiences that you're grateful for. This is a really nice place, a week or so before the end of the year and New Year's, to have this time for really reflecting and taking all the goodness that you can from the year, all the lessons, all the wisdom, really focusing on how you've expanded and grown, and then to actually, try to put that into the physical material plane by symbolic gestures, dance, movement. Yeah, so some other ideas for getting into a kind of trance state, or yeah, to do some intense breath work, to do some deep meditating, to do a lot of dance, so you can get into like a trance dance, maybe drumming or sound vibrations, singing, these kind of things, whatever really works for you for getting into this kind of altered state of consciousness. So it's really nice to get into this state before yeah, going into a ritual. Also, it can be nice to consecrate, so to use some of the energy from whatever ritual you're creating for the greater energy field of the planet. So I like to add a lot of pleasure into my rituals, and self-pleasure and sexuality. And I like to consecrate that energy to the sexual liberation of all beings, and imagine people that are in sexual repression and in pain and shut down and stuff, and that they feel some of this orgasmic energy that I create. So yeah, also self-pleasure will be part of my ritual in there somewhere. So figuring out exactly where I like to flow, not plan it too much, and to allow some intuition and following of what's real in the moment. But yeah, adding things that are pleasurable for you, things that feel liberating and free. Yeah, whatever you like. There's so many different ways to do rituals, but to really think of this kind of like starting the container, intention, consecration, going into a trance state, doing the releasing and calling in, and then finishing the container with something like gratitude. Yeah, and also some kind of action towards what you are wanting to create, like however that might show up, but taking some kind of action step can be really good. I'd also recommend around this time of year, if you can take some time to do a digital detox and a cleaning and clearing. So I'm planning on Saturday to, yeah, step offline, clean the house, and yeah, do some practices to really, yeah, clean up, clear the energy, and make room for the solstice ritual. So that's also a little bit of inspiration. So yeah, enjoy. I'd like to hear how you're planning your rituals, what you're planning to do. Is there anything that you want to inspire others with that you have planned?